We have arrived at the famous Suzuka circuit less than a week after the chaotic Singapore Grand Prix for the running of the Japanese Grand Prix, the fifth to last race of the 2014 season. Coming into this race, two team news have been making the headlines this week. The first team news is the third driver move of the silly season, as Argentine Franco Lopez will be leaving Marussia at the end of the season and will step up to be Alex Southgate's replacement at McLaren next year. Franco has had an up and down season this year, however he has been able to demonstrate his raw speed that he had last year in GP2 when things have gone his own way. His best race this year have to be at Hungary, where he finished 7th after passing two-time world champion Joseph Willows, and more recently last week at Singapore he finished an impressive 5th, being one of the 7 survivors of that race, and it enabled him to leap ahead of his teammate Roberto Gamba in the Drivers' Championship. Franco will be looking to prove himself even more in a midfield team, and he'll be looking to help McLaren in terms of development when they switch to Honda engines in 2015. The second and final team news of this week is that Lotus have announced that they'll be retaining Brit David Greenwood for another year. David has had another impressive season in 2014 despite the fact that Lotus have gone backwards compared to last year. He is currently beating his teammate and Haas-bound Kirishima De Rosa in the Drivers' Championship, and his best moment this year has to be at the Italian Grand Prix, where he finished a very impressive 6th despite starting last on the grid. He'll be looking to have another impressive year in 2015 and also help Lotus move up the grid next year as a result of the Enstone-based team switching to Mercedes Power in 2015. The question now surrounds on who his teammate will be next year, with De Rosa moving to the new Haas team. The rumours are suggesting that he's more likely going to be current Caterham driver Julius Anderson, who is having an impressive rookie year, but we will have to wait and see. And finally, in other news, Red Bull Racing driver Robert Ionescu has laid to rest any speculation that he'll be taking a break for the remainder of the season after another frustrating race at Singapore. However, he has announced that while he'll be racing for the remainder of the year, he will not be taking part in the practice sessions for the remainder of the year, as he wants to give the team's test driver William Duncan some running, with the American aiming to be back on the grid in the near future. And that is it for this week's edition of the GP4OC News. The next team news will break at the Russian Grand Prix next week, who will be announced. Tune into the first ever practice session at the Sochi Autodrome.